All right, it's a quick tip for people that suffer from like doubts or confidence on PMP exam. I want you to ask yourself 10 questions that you already know the answer to, or that you know you can find the answer to. Ask yourself 10 questions before you get into your exam to kind of get your brain into that motion. What I have noticed, and I'm the poster child for this, I have noticed that the brain has some sort of inertia when you get into the exam at first. For example, I spent 1 hour answering 20 questions, and my brain just wasn't booted up. So I spend 1 hour answering 20 questions. That's average of 3 minutes a question. Now, it doesn't sound bad if you say it took 3 minutes to answer a question. But if you really look at how long you should be spending, it's a minute. At worst, a minute, 15 seconds. If you're spending more than a minute, 15 seconds on a question, you're in trouble. Now, when you go into the exam, the very first time you encounter a question on the PMP official exam, your brain is going to process the information at a speed equal to your brain speed going in. So before you get in, you might want to get your brain a little bit warm by asking questions and answering them. It could be very simple questions. You're a project manager on a project, you have just completed the authorization document for the project. What should you do next? And answer it however you want to answer it. You could say, I identify stakeholders, or go through some mental exercise, or just ask yourself questions such as, what are the 9 additional areas of project management apart from integration? You see, so you're giving it a little bit of a twist, but you're going through some mental exercise. Or ask yourself, what are my favorite 5 tasks in the PMP exam content outline? Now you're making yourself at least recall stuff. So your brain is being warmed, it's being booted up, so that when you get behind the monitor, you are not just waking up. Because I know a lot of people, they wake up in the morning and that's the first thing they do, because they're morning people. They want to take the exam in the morning, but their brains are not really booted up. So they spend the first 30, 40 minutes of the exam getting their brain warm. No. Give yourself some little mental exercise and also get the blood flowing. Do physical exercise where possible. Do some push-ups, do some stretching, do some light sprint or jogging or brisk walking. I'm telling you, all of these things, they change your mental state. They get you into a zone of high performance. So if that sounds like something you are in need of because you are a slow reader, and like me, it takes time for your brain to boot up, doing these mental exercises and physical exercises will get you into the right zone so that when you get to the test center, you're not spending the first 1 hour like I did, just getting your brain to boot up. And when my brain finally booted up, what happened? I killed those questions. My brain booted up around question 20. Now, what I did was I went to the end of that section and just started doing the questions in reverse. So maybe for you, instead of doing question 1 to 60, I would want to feel more in command of my exam. So I would intentionally go to question 60. And I wouldn't answer question 1, 2, 3, 4, because I have found me as an individual taking these PMI exams, I like being in control of my destiny on those exams by intentionally going to any question other than 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe I go to question 30 and I do from 30 to 60, or I go to question 45 and I do from 45 to 35, 35 to 25, whatever. But I'm giving you ideas of how I conquered my test. You got to find your own way. But I need your brain to boot up. I need you to think on your feet, and I need you to feel like you are in command of the exam. Don't let the exam throw you around. My final tip for you, if you're taking this PMP exam, 2023, 2022, you need to be aware of the 1 minute rule. Don't spend more than a minute on a question. If you spend more than a minute, let it be for the reason that you really know the answer and you just need a bit more time to work it out, but don't go beyond a minute, 15 seconds as much as you can. Also be agile in how you tackle time on the exam. So if you spend 30 minutes on 10 questions, 30 seconds on 10 questions, think about it, 30 seconds per question on 10, that means you have an extra 40 seconds. That's an extra 400 seconds. And that's an extra 6 minutes. it all piles up. So if you are taking a look at the time in an agile fashion, you also instinctively know when you spend less than a minute, and therefore through instinct, you should know when you can devote a little bit more time to get a longer question or a more difficult question right. But the rule of thumb needs to be a minute per question. If you're spending more than a minute, it's very likely you're going to go over. Your first 60 questions, don't spend more than 75 minutes on that section, because they give you all 230 minutes. And if you're spending more than 75 minutes on that first section, it's going to be very hard for you to catch up. A student of ours ended up having 40 questions left in 10 minutes. So this is a strategy for those of you that might find yourself in this predicament. If you find yourself having a whole lot of questions left, which I hope you don't, because that's bad planning, that's the whole purpose of what I said at first. But if you do, what you need to do is use the process of rapid elimination. Look for those options that are just totally outrageous, that are against the grain of the PMI mindset mantras that I shared on YouTube. Look for my video, PMI or PMP mindset mantras. There's 36 of them. Anything that goes against the grain of those mantras, don't choose it. Anything that goes against the grain of the Agile Manifesto, don't choose it. But you got to be really quick to do that if you have like 40 questions in 10 minutes. It happened to a student of ours. What happened? She aced the exam. She's now PMP. But she used that approach, rapid elimination. Anything that sounds draconian, fire the team, punish the team, use velocity as a KPI, all those goofy type of things, knowing those and avoiding them can actually help you narrow down on answers. All right. This was just a very rapid video to help you in your strategy for PMP exam success. I wish you all the very best. And when you pass, do leave me a message. You take care. Bye for now.